If public speaking anxiety is holding you back from pitching, presenting, or stepping up to speak, then in this video, I want to show you that speaking with confidence, far from being some gift that you have to be born with, is a skill that anyone can learn. And it only takes 4 key steps to get there. And my name is Ed. I struggled with severe glossophobia. I had social anxiety. And I went on to become a professional actor, a speaker, and the founder of Project Charisma, a training company here in the UK that transforms hundreds of leaders and professionals into charismatic speakers. And there are 4 critical steps that took me from that fear of speaking to now doing it professionally. And they are the same steps that I use in all of my training as well. So let's go through them, starting with step number 1, which is called skill acquisition. Now, most people are never actually taught how to project confident body language, structure a talk, use their voice properly, or manage their nerves in the moment. If you stepped up to play a piano in front of 500 people and you didn't know the difference between a chord and a scale, would you deserve to feel confident, really? But public speaking is just as much of a skill set as playing the piano, and yet we're conditioned to think that people should just be able to do it, right? Even if they've never been taught how. And the higher you progress up your career or business, the more you start to feel the weight of those expectations. So before anything else, the first crucial thing we need to do is train you in the fundamentals of public speaking. Now, this is a bit of an umbrella term that has storytelling, rhetoric, gestures, improvisation, so a lot of people don't know where to start. But I boil it all down into 4 pillars. The words, which is what you actually say, your voice, which is how you say those words, your body language, which is what you show non-verbally, and then finally your mindset, which is how you think and feel about the situation, which is going to affect your words, your voice, and your body. Now, when I first began learning to speak in public, I was going to classes every other week, and I was kind of picking up tips and techniques here and there and assembling my understanding. But when you learn how to properly gesture, speak, interact, not only do you become objectively better, but mentally it gives you something positive to focus on, rather than getting stuck in your own head with nothing but the thoughts of how anxious you are and how everyone is thinking you're terrible. You now can focus on these practical skills that are within your circle of control. So true confidence always requires competence first, and that is what this first step is about. But it's not enough just to know the skills, we need to put them into practice. So step number 2 is what we call low pressure practice. Now, if you are a nervous speaker, most of the opportunities that you get will come with a feeling of high stakes. Maybe you feel like you've got to just grit your teeth and get through it. And that obviously is not the ideal environment for learning and improving. So that's why the second step, low pressure practice in a supportive environment, is so important, because you need to have a space to practice and to learn without the risks to your career or the perceived judgment of your peers. Just like an athlete will do timed laps or a comedian will go and do smaller shows to practice, public speaking requires those reps that we need to get in, the constructive feedback. And when you get both of those things together, that's where the magic starts to happen, because you begin to move from a theory of knowing what to do to experiencing firsthand speaking with confidence in front of an audience. And as that happens, all of those skills individually, gestures, eye contact, pausing, etc., they start to become more like muscle memory. So rather than having to think about it, you just do it naturally. So now that we've taught you the skills and we've honed them through low pressure practice, the next step is putting you back in the arena. So step number 3 is what I term guided rehearsal. When a real life speaking opportunity comes up, the next step is that we need to make sure you are 100% ready. So instead of the usual procrastination, writing out an entire script, stressing over your slides, we work together to ensure that you are 100% ready and feeling confident. And the key here is practicing out loud with feedback on your content, your delivery, your presence. Now, the clients I work with, they might be presenting to the board or giving a town hall talk, or maybe speaking at a conference, even giving a monthly Teams update. Doesn't really matter what the situation is. What matters is whatever that challenge, we will prepare you in the right way, leveraging all of these skills to make sure you get the best possible outcome, because that is going to lead us to the final step, which is what we call real world wins. So this is where you step off stage, you leave the boardroom and you say, Ed, I gave that talk. I delivered that pitch and it went brilliantly. And I felt calm, I felt composed, I actually enjoyed it. And this capstone on the pyramid completes the rest of the process. Because when you start to have these truly positive experiences of public speaking, that fundamentally shifts the associations that you have previously built. So rather than associating public speaking with nerves, stress, fear, all the things that cause the anxiety, we shift that association through genuine real world experiences to one of excitement and enthusiasm and a self belief. And this is what I would call authentic confidence. It's not something that's fleeting, it's not something that's faked, it's genuine belief in yourself that you have earned through doing it. And there's a positive feedback loop that happens here because when you speak well, you start to feel the difference, and then the audience responds really positively, and then you feel even better, and your confidence grows, and you take that into the next situation. And rather than having a vicious cycle, we start to create a virtuous one where you don't have to mask your anxiety anymore. You don't have to avoid opportunities. You can say yes, you can succeed, you can enjoy it, and that is where the game starts to change. So look, that is the framework. Skill acquisition, low pressure practice, guided rehearsal, real world wins. And it works because each step builds on the last one. You don't need to be a natural speaker. You just need to have the right guidance and the space to practice. And if you feel tired or feeling held back by nerves, maybe you have to now do some speaking, then I'd encourage you to book in a free 30-minute call. I'll be on the other end waiting to chat about your goals, your challenges, and to see if there is a good fit. In the meantime, you can find out more about my training at projectcharisma.com. And of course, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. My name is Ed from Project Charisma. I've been exactly where you might be right now, but here's to your public speaking success.